Another thing we like to do with radicals is express things in simplest radical form. So a radical is in simplest form when the number under the radical sign is the smallest possible integer. So just got one example here, the square root of 28. So when we're doing this, what we want to look for, we want two numbers that multiply together to get 28, where one of them is a square number. So our square numbers will be 1 squared, which is 1, 2 squared, 4, 3 squared, 9, then 16, 25, 36, 49, and that obviously carries on going with each square number. So with the square root of 28, we can work this out by it being the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. Four times 7 is 28, and 4 is a squared number, which gives us square root of 4, which is 2, and then the root 7 we leave as it is. And that is simplifying our surd. I'm just going to do another quick example to the side here, which is going to be the square root of 48. Now, sometimes you may not see the biggest square root to start with, and that is fine. And I'll show you how it will still work. So the square root of 48, I'm going to say the first thing I see is 4 and 12. So it'll be the square root of 4 times the square root of 12, which gives me 2 the square root of 12. But now the square root of 12 can be simplified further again, because that is the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. And that will give us a final answer of 4 root 3. Now this is what happens because we didn't find the biggest squared number first. So with 48, we'll actually find the biggest squared number is 16. And it's the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, which will just give us straight away the 4 root 3. So it makes things simpler if you find the biggest squared number first, but if you don't, it's okay, you still will get there in the end. Then example 2, write 9 minus the square root of 75 over 6 in simplest radical form of a plus b the square root of n, where a, b are elements of q, which remember are rational numbers, and n is an element of z, so an integer. So a and b have to be rational, n has to be an integer, and we need to write it in this form here of a plus b square root of n. So sometimes what you do find is questions do give you exactly how they want their answer. So let's have a go at this question. So we've got 9 minus the square root of 75 over 6. So first of all, square root of 75, is that in its simplest form? The answer is no. So I'm going to simplify that first. I'm just going to write the question. And I'm going to start simplifying this. So this can be the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. And that will give us 9 minus 5 root 3 over 6. Then I'm going to get rid of the fraction. Now to do this, I am going to split it first. I'm going to have 9 over 6 minus 5 root 3 over 6. We're getting more towards the form of a plus b square root of n. So our a will be 9 on 6, which does also simplify down to 3 over 2. Then the 5 root 3 on 6, what we can do is the 5 on 6 can be pulled out of the front, so that's our b, and then the square root of 3 next to it. So it's the same thing, it's just written in a different form, but it's written how the question wants the answer. So you sometimes just have to check that and make sure you're giving it exactly as the question asks. And that is simplifying radicals.